3 months ago, people like Paul Feinbaum were ready to crown Arch Manning one of the greatest quarterbacks in college football history. We sit here going into week 4, and he ain't even close to that. What is causing Arch Manning's struggles? Will he get out of it? We're going to talk about that on this episode, Waterboys College Football Show.
All right, boys. Arch Manning just continues to struggle, even in a win over UTEP. No one going into this game thought that this would be even close. To make matters worse, this happened at Darrell K. Royal Stadium in Austin, Texas. UTEP, the Miners come in and from the very beginning set a tone that they were not scared of the Longhorns and they were not scared of Arch Manning. Just a couple of observations. You know, this started back at the Ohio State game where he went 17 of 30 for 170 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. At the beginning, we said, well, that's Ohio State. You know, anybody can look bad. It's a tough game for Arch. You guys didn't need to. I tried to wrangle in the, I hate that team so much. I can't stand it. And just said, hey, give the guy a little time. It hasn't gotten any better. And although they won at UTEP, this might be the worst game I have ever seen from a guy coming in. Now, he clearly has all the athleticism that you could ever want out of a quarterback. I want to say this off the jump. I think Steve Sarkisian is an absolute liar. To stand up in a press conference, you giant POS, and say that there's nothing wrong with your quarterback when we're staring at video showing that when he throws the ball, he is wincing. It's either an AC joint or it's a rotator cuff or it's an elbow or it's something. And if you are parading that kid out there while he's hurt, I hope bad things happen to you, Sark, because it is to get up there in a press conference and look media in the face and say there's nothing wrong with him when we all have eyeballs and we are watching him on the sidelines, just trying to keep his arm warm. We're watching him wince when he throws. A lot of the angles that he's throwing from, I went back through right before we recorded and watched the highlights again from that game. He is throwing from angles that he doesn't have to throw from when he's completely wide open and he's just trying to throw across the middle. He's throwing it from weird angles that is normally indicative of something's wrong, and neither Texas or Sark or anyone else wants to come out and admit it, but something is, other than he's just playing bad, something is wrong with Arch Manning. And it's not good.
Yeah. And looking at some of the film and having watched this game, honestly, I had it on my split screen on my TV and I was like, get this off my TV. I don't want this game on my TV anymore. Looking at how he's consistently sailing passes and dirt balling some of these passes, that his first pass attempt at Ohio State in week 1, his very first pass was 6 yards short of the receiver, and it hit the ground. So I'm almost to the point where if there is actually something wrong with Arch Manning's arm, I think that it's going back even that to the very beginning of the season, before he ever even took a snap. Something happened in camp, and maybe Arch isn't saying something about it, or he's trying to play through it, or Sark is trying to get him to do something somewhere else and kind of just move past it, kind of play it under the radar. And I hope it's an injury, because if it's not an injury and this is just how he throws the football, Texas fans, the Longhorns are in for a bit of a long season moving forward, because you cannot convince me that this quarterback that everyone hailed to be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen going into this season is going 11 for 25 for 114, 1 touchdown and 1 pick against UTEP.
Yeah. Seems like his timing's really off too from what I've watched. It's like he'll drop back in the pocket and has time, and before he lets his first pick develop, he's already looking at a second option, and he's overthrowing things. It's almost like he's kind of too fast at sometimes. And also to keep in consideration too, I saw the other day, he's only had 6 game starts in his college football career. And I kind of hate it for him in a way, because, with that last name, dude, he's going to have so many potentially unrealistic expectations. He's got a target on his back. Can he meet those expectations? But yeah, something with his mechanics is off. Could be a mental thing. He could be hurt. Who knows? But his timing is definitely not there yet.
Well, and Strez, anybody that's ever played athletics, anytime anybody's playing hurt, one of two things happens. It either makes you really get hyper focused and you will play through it and sometimes play better. You'll play more inside of yourself, or it's on your mind so much that you can't do anything.
Yeah. Well, the problem here is that it's his throwing arm.
Yeah.
And he's a quarterback. Like, if you're a quarterback and you've hurt any piece of your throwing arm, whether it's your elbow, your shoulder, your wrist, your fingers, like every single piece of your throwing arm is going to affect how you throw the football. And so it's like more than this is a legitimate physical thing for a quarterback. So like, I don't even know. I wouldn't know what direction to go with this. And like I said, like, I hope it is an injury, because if it's not, and this is just how he is as a quarterback, then, to Steve's point, like, I mean, he's going into his 7th start this next week. I mean, Julian Sayin is going into his 4th start, and he looks worlds better than Arch Manning does at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's wild. It's wild to me.
Well, and we talked about it right after the Ohio State game. We all circled it, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an OU fan and I got OU memorabilia in my studio here. We all circled it and said, man, Ohio State in game 1 was able to get pressure on him. And Matt Patricia, unbelievable defensive coordinator at the NFL level. But I will still hold to that the best defensive coordinator in college football is in Norman. And now all he does is call plays for defense. He don't even call offense. And when I watched how R. Mason Thomas and Dominic Williams, that interior defensive line from Oklahoma, how they have been able to get after it, R. Mason Thomas is one of the best pass rushers in the entire country. And he's going to be playing a lot of football on Sundays. If Arch is struggling at all, and he starts resorting to a lot of what he was doing at UTEP and running, he's going to take some serious shots.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma was in Bryce Underwood's grill the entire game at Michigan, and that guy, nothing wrong with his throwing arm. So I'm really concerned if he's really hurt. And I was talking to somebody about this today. I said, does this have anything to do with we're paying these guys now? That they feel obligated to play through pain. We see it at the NFL level. I think Bryce Young's not right. I mean, there's a couple of guys at the NFL level that are, but that's different. That's big boy football. They're getting millions of dollars. That's what we used to say. Got to play through it. Well, now this is college, and they are making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He doesn't look right, and it ain't going to be any better.
That's a very valid point, but I'm definitely going to throw this in there. It's Paul Feinbaum's fault. Get
Paul
that
Feinbaum
man out of
curse.
the SEC. Yes, it's reverse psychology. He hyped him up because he really doesn't want him to succeed. I think
Boys, I'm looking at the Longhorns schedule. Next week, we got Arch Manning at DJ Lagway. Over under 7.5 interceptions thrown in that game.
Total out of both quarterbacks?
Between both quarterbacks.
Over.
2 quarterbacks that are not healthy, probably, because Lagway's not healthy either.
I mean, he was hurt during camp too, and like something seems to be off with him too, because he didn't even remotely look this bad last year.
Yeah.
But they got a defense. Like, Florida can fly around. They got a decent defense. They gave Nussmeier all kinds of problems.
Did you guys see one of Steve Sarkisian's comments when he was asked about the QB problems? He said, it could be worse. Yikes. What an endorsement from your head coach.
It could be worse. That's good. That's what you want to hear if you're a Texas fan at the University of Texas. You know what? It could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be. And I think too, something a sentiment that I've seen going around on social media too over the last couple of weeks. Texas fans owe Quinn Ewers a huge apology.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go ahead and put a hot take out there right now. Hot take. Texas Longhorns have a QB problem. And it ain't even week 5 yet.
Yeah, it's not going to be. I don't know who they got. I'm sure they've got some other 4 or 5-star guy that's behind him. But if you got a game that you can rest him and try to figure it out, I'd be pulling the ripcord on it as fast as you possibly can, because you've got to get it figured out. Texas fans, let us know in the comments what's wrong with Arch Manning. Are we overhyping it? Do you believe Sark when he says that there's nothing wrong with his quarterback, or do you believe your eyeballs when the kid winces and throws the ball? Make sure that you follow us here on the Waterboys College Football Show, and more videos to come.